doing security, and they have been absolutely fantastic. Sir, you made it through hurricane season without a hurricane.
Yeah.
And so FEMA, you kept the hurricanes away. So.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Overtime. We have learned that Representative Sheri Thanedar, I believe actually it's Thanedar, will be introducing articles of impeachment today against Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. Now, this is making the rounds on YouTube, of all sorts of news areas. We'd kind of, in time, like to see the news tamp down a bit on this. There is a story here. It's not the story you think, and it's, oh dear. So, Thanedar. Thank you, Titan. What's going on? Well, very quickly, I'd like to cover, just because I think it's going to come up again, what impeachment is, why we have it, and how it actually works. It's not a often well understood process. Impeachment comes from the UK. It comes from when before the US was even a country. What was happening was members of parliament, parties on one side or another would get so eager to see their legislation passed that they would bribe police officers to arrest members of parliament on the way to vote. They'd be arrested, detained, and then as soon as the vote was over, they'd be released. And that's how you won votes, was by arresting as many members of the opposing party as you could. Now, this was seen as a bad thing. So, members of parliament were granted limited immunity against being detained, arrested, and even charged with any crime. But if you're going to give them immunity, you have to have a way to pierce that immunity, and that means was called impeachment. Now, all impeachment does is pierce the immunity. It doesn't actually, in and of itself, kick anybody out of office or put anybody in jail. It just means they are now subject to punishments based on whatever the country decides is relevant for how that impeachment process works. Here in the United States, if an impeachment is actually just a trial to try to pierce that immunity, to say we are stripping you of your immunity and we are going to punish you in some way. Trump was impeached several times, and in each time there was a trial and he was found not guilty. Now, he was found not guilty because the trial was rigged. There's no other way to put it. The House of Representatives wanted to impeach him and wanted to see the process through to a guilty verdict, but the Supreme Court, who the Chief Justice of would preside over an impeachment trial, was on Trump's side and did everything he could to make evidence completely inadmissible or just go away. And then the Senate was on Trump's side, and the Senate's the jury. So Trump owned the jury and the judge. So yeah, he won. Had he lost, it doesn't mean he gets kicked out of office, but they can now kick him out of office, or they can fine him, or they can do any number of things, and he can be prosecuted in other ways. So losing just means, oh, that's it. You're no longer bulletproof. And usually in the U.S., the assumption is if you lose at impeachment, if you're found guilty of whatever it is that you've been impeached for, they'll kick you out of office. But in the U.S., in the common vernacular, people tend to think impeachment means getting kicked out of office. That's not what it means. It means, in a technical sense, it means we are attempting to remove the protection you have against getting kicked out of office and or against any kind of punishment. In somewhat more layman terms, what it means is the same thing it actually means in court, which is to demonstrate that somebody's character is faulty in some way. So when you impeach a witness in a court, What that really means is the witness is no longer considered a good witness. They're no longer considered credible. And that's essentially what you're doing here. You're saying we're impeaching the president. We're saying he's a bad president and he does not deserve the immunity that he's got. So that's why they call it impeachment, believe it or not. It's about, and you can say you've impeached someone's character, you've impeached their credibility. That's what the word means. That's where it comes from. One of the things that even most Americans don't often know is that you can impeach any federal employee, anyone, work at the post office, any judge. The Supreme Court can be impeached. I've been a proponent of impeaching members of this Supreme Court for quite some time. To the best of my knowledge, and actually we could ask Sage and find out, but to the best of my knowledge, no member of the U.S. Supreme Court has ever been impeached. But usually impeachment is reserved for, high crimes and misdemeanors. There's no doubt in my mind Thomas is guilty of that, Alito, Roberts, so you could easily impeach them. A couple of years ago, we've been talking about the impeachment of Thomas, and it looked like somebody was going to take a shot at it. Nobody has. It's amazing. And quite disappointing how much corruption you can have in the U.S., and there's still taboos. It's like, well, it's okay that Judge Thomas is literally taking bribes, but don't impeach a member of the Supreme Court. That's never been done before. That's a no-no. Well, the Constitution allows you to impeach anybody who works for the federal government. That includes every judge. So, Sheri Thanedar, I think that's correct now? Thanedar, yep, okay. Has decided that he would like to impeach and ostensibly remove from office Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. I very much am for the idea. In theory, I'd like to see Pete Hegseth gone. He is clearly, by any other metric in any other administration, would be gone. He was never qualified to serve in the first place. It's amazing that we have a Senate that's willing to confirm. Is it the Senate or the House? It's a Congress that has been willing to confirm people like Pete Hegseth in the first place who clearly are not qualified. Pam Bondi is not qualified. Katie Noem is not qualified. None of these people are qualified. And it's patently obvious. They should all be impeached. A few of them probably tried for war crimes too. At any rate, so isn't this great news? That this is going to happen today, and isn't this big news, and so on and so forth. It is neither big news nor is it great. Mr. Sheri Thanedar is a Democrat from Michigan. He's not even on the judiciary, so he is not on the committee that would normally decide these things. So that's the first problem. He can do it. He can put these articles in, but that's not really his job. He's on a number of smaller committees. The articles of impeachment, by the way, will accuse Hegseth of murder, conspiracy to murder, and reckless and unlawful mishandling of classified information. The reckless and unlawful mishandling of classified information, believe it or not, he's going to lose. A Pentagon report has come back and said that indeed Hegseth did, in the use of his signal chat, mishandle information. That information had been, right before he mishandled it, classified, and that he absolutely put troops' lives in danger. Unfortunately, very much like the president can do the Jedi mind trick and say, this is no longer classified, Hegseth can do the same thing when it comes to military intelligence. So the assumption is that Hegseth basically is going to argue, well, I decided it wasn't classified when I blasted it out on Signal to my wife, my brother, and a whole bunch of other people. And he's permitted to say that. So getting him on misuse of classified information is going to be extraordinarily difficult. That notwithstanding, you can certainly get him on the unlawful use of the signal. I mean, he he's dead to rights on, and a Pentagon committee has already said that. Unfortunately, most of the guardrails at the Pentagon have all been fired. Or any JAG officer that had any interest in pursuing justice is gone. Most of they've gutted all the investigative elements of the Pentagon. I was really kind of shocked that there was one that was genuinely investigating whether or not he committed a crime here. And while I'm not pleased with their decision, I get it. I think it's logical and it's a defensible decision. Yeah, they're right. He shouldn't be able to just Jedi mind trick this stuff into being non-classified, but unfortunately, that's where the precedents currently are. It's idiotic, but that's where they are. So they said he absolutely violated all the rules using Signal in the first place. He clearly put I mean, they were pretty harsh with him. So I'm sure you could get him on something, but by putting the word classified in there, you just lost the argument. So he's going to lose on that one. Murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Yeah, I have zero doubt he's guilty of that. So, yay, we're going to get rid of Hegseth, except here's the problem. This has to go through committee, go through the Judiciary Committee ostensibly first. All the committees are chaired by Republicans. All the Republicans still are going to do what Johnson tells them, which is still going to be what Trump tells them. So this is not getting out of committee. Even if this gets out to committee, it's not going to go to the floor for a vote. Even if it goes to the floor for a vote, it's not going to pass. Even if it passes, you're then going to have a trial with John Roberts, Chief Justice John Roberts, as the judge for the trial, and the Senate. And you're going to have to get the 2/3 of the Senate to successfully impeach when Trump is going to say no. Trump won all his previous impeachments, and he had less control of Congress than he does now. Congress is more scared of him now than they were last time. This is going to fail. And the reason this is a problem, unfortunately, Thanedar has done this before. Some of you may remember because we've covered this man before. And I'm starting to not be a fan. He introduced articles of impeachment against Trump on his second day in office. Were the articles valid? Yes. Did I think he should be tried and convicted? Yes. Was it going to happen? No. On occasion, there are times that you fight a battle you know you're going to lose because you can turn it into a pyrrhic victory for the other side, or you get something else. There are times when you do that. But for the most part, don't even enter a battle you know you're going to lose. Democrats had to fight with this man to withdraw those articles. And if I recall, it ended up being a month-long fight. The minority leader has actually already condemned, Minority Leader Jeffries has condemned his putting these articles on the floor. And it's not because Hegseth doesn't deserve it. Of course Hegseth deserves it. But do we want to hand Trump another victory? Is there any question that there is no chance of this? And it turns out that, last time, Thanedar was actually facing, I guess he was facing a primary. Thanedar was facing a primary. And he was courting groups that want to see Trump impeached. He is still doing that. So it was seen at the time, and I very much concur, it was seen by most political pundits as basically a move selling out the Democratic Party, not doing what's best for the party, but doing what's best for him. Grandstanding, trying to get a national attention for himself by doing something that the base wanted to see. We all wanted to see it, but that had no shot of working and was going to undermine the political power of the Democrats in Congress at the time that they needed it the most, because it makes them look silly, especially when they get their asses handed to them. So he is single-handedly getting the Democrats into a fight that he's going to lose. Hegseth could just be pardoned. He will be. If anything goes anywhere with this, he's going to be pardoned. There are, and again, if this were even to get to, Trump owns the prosecutor, the grand jury. That would be the Speaker of the House and the House of Representatives. He owns the judge. That would be Chief Justice Roberts. And he owns the jury. That would be the Senate. All of them are in his pocket. What is this man doing? If he was just trying to make a point, that would be one thing if people thought that that point needed to be made. Hegseth is absolutely guilty of war crimes. There has been a formal complaint filed in The Hague. It was filed 2 days ago by the wife of one of the men who was killed. She says he was just a fisherman. It doesn't matter. He could have also been a criminal. He was a civilian. That everybody agrees to. And he was targeted and extrajudiciously murdered. So, somebody is starting that process. It sucks that there's a process. I'd like to see Hegseth just nailed right now. That's not going to happen. The general consensus is, and White House Democrats in leadership basically have dismissed this move. And one Democrat was asked, what do you think about this? He's like, it's Sheri. It's what he does. He files articles of impeachment, and he does it to help his base. Last year or earlier this year, it ripped the Democratic Party apart. What he was doing, he's just done it again. And you can look him up, and you can see 𝐒𝐴ZNEDAR. He really seems to be a troublemaker. And again, I hate to say that about somebody who's right. Hegseth should be impeached. But unfortunately, politics, who's right is usually very much second. It's what you can do. And this isn't going to go anywhere, and it's just going to harm the Democratic Party. And again, we've seen a number of there are a number of news organizations that are making a big deal about this, and it's always a little weird when we sit there saying, no, our breaking news is don't make a big deal about this. But that is, in fact, essentially what we're saying. This is not, the deal isn't that, oh my God, they're going after Hegseth. There is zero chance of getting Hegseth on this right now. The deal is this guy's stirring up trouble. We need to be focusing on the Epstein files. There was a release of actually, in my view, some horrifying, they had a dentist there. So the women were they were being held there for years. You have a dentist on the island when, you're not planning on letting anyone go for a long time. So Epstein is the story. Epstein is where Trump is weakest. It's where people need to be thinking right now. And this doesn't help. This really doesn't help. So my hope is that all of you will consider that and consider, whether or not you want to be delighted that this is going on, or sit there and stand by. Okay, yeah, I have no idea why that is. All right. I'm sorry. It's. I wish. Well, I had better news for you. This is a story because it's someone causing trouble. It's not a story because it's going to go anywhere. It's not, and everybody knows it. You know it. I know it. Epstein's going somewhere. It's still going somewhere. That's where stories should lie. That and both Israel and Ukraine are very important stories to cover too. So what this guy's doing with Hegseth, yep, Hegseth's guilty. Congratulations. You're not going to get him. All right, thank you all for joining us. We do have a scheduled show tonight, and if you have any questions that you'd like to ask Commander about either this Hegseth thing or anything that we've been talking about, Commander Lance McMillan will be joining us tonight for downtime at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm also going to really quickly check and see. It's always, especially when we go on these little weird times, I guess the Department of Justice is actually holding a press conference right now. So we're going to send you to the Associated Press and that press conference. I'm probably going to go hit the press conference and see what they're talking about. They've already answered that they think these articles of impeachment are a joke. To the best of my knowledge, he was going to put them in early afternoon, so I don't think he's put them in yet. But again, he was eventually convinced to withdraw his previous articles of impeachment against Trump. Hopefully he withdraws these. We'll be staying on this on the Discord, and we look forward to seeing you tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, with Commander Lance McMillan for Downtime. Have a good day, everyone.